Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. And on today's video, we have a new drone to take a look at. This is the GleesFun G11PRO mini drone. It's not a mini drone, I guess it's a above average drone. So this one is a 6K photo, 4K video, gimbal, 3-axis gimbal, camera drone. So for this one, you're going to be doing a lot of slow flying and videography and photographs type of flying. You know, it's not a stunt drone type thing. Thank goodness, because DPS is the only thing I can fly. Now, I will go over how it flies and all the details here in a second. I just want to show you what comes in the box real quickly. So you get a very nice padded case, and that has some interphone to protect everything, but you have a slot for your controller, you have a slot for your drone, you have a slot for your 2 batteries, and a big pouch up here for the manuals and all the little accessory bits. So semi-rigid case, so you can put this in the back of your car or carry it around, toss it in a backpack, and it's going to protect the drone. Now obviously if you sit on it, you may have some issues, but very nice little case. Now of course it comes with your little GleesFun info card, so it has their email address and website and Facebook and even a phone number on there in case you need tech support, and then also Amazon shopping app link so you can go directly to it. Now in the kit you get a very nice cheat sheet card that overlays the controller. It's kind of a common thing now, but it's very nice if you've never flown anything like this to remember what all the buttons and sticks and all that stuff are, you know, what you're going to do if you push it. So kind of takes some of the anxiety out of flying it for the first time. You get a quick start card with QR codes on there. There's a video tutorial and then QR codes for the iOS and Android app. So you just scan those with your phone, takes you directly there, download the app, installs on your phone. That way you can connect your phone to the controller and control things via the phone app through the controller to the drone. And we'll get into some of those real quick. Now this is just your quick start guide. That's going to kind of your nickel tour of it. Your user manual is, you know, read this. There is a ton of information here that is actually very useful for flying the drone. And then on the back, there's also a QR code for video tutorial to help get you going. Now I've flown similar ones in the past, so kind of skimmed through it. But overall, everything in there is very easy to understand and very easy to follow along. Meat and potatoes of it, here's your drone. This is a larger than what I'm used to drone. Normally I have the 249 gram or under drones. This one is actually larger. So this one, you do need to register through the FAA. It has the remote ID. There's a QR code on here that will kind of walk you through all that. Spoiler alert, I didn't yet. I will. I will get it registered. But where I'm flying, I am not near any airports, government facilities, anything like that. And I'm not really in the air traffic path of a lot. So for me, it wasn't, you know, top of the list to go out and do. But if you're in an urban area, if you're anywhere near an airport, anywhere near a government facility, register your drone so you don't have people come knocking at your door later on. So this one does come in, I think 358 grams, something like that. It is chunkier than the other ones I have. I think a lot of that is battery. These batteries are significantly heavier than my other batteries. You do get a lot more flight time out of these. I think I flew for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I still had half a battery back to go. So, you know, I don't know how long I could have flown on that other half, but no issues with battery life. And you get 2 batteries with the drone. So, you know, charge up 2 batteries, you can fly for quite a while. Now, the motors do not get hot. The drone itself does not, you know, parts of it get a little warm. Basically, most of your heat is coming from the battery. So once you swap out a battery, you know, you can pretty much take it right back in the air and continue flying. So you should have at least an hour, I would think, of runtime. It says 70 minutes of runtime, but I would say, you know, that's in optimal conditions. So you should get about an hour's of flight time out of this. The drone itself is a cool, like, almost like metallic military green. It's kind of a cool looking color. I was kind of shocked because on the box it looks very, very green, but in reality it's kind of like almost a metallic, like military-ish moss green. It's really nice. I like the color of it. It's unique, and you know, just looks pretty cool. The batteries have the little battery indicator lights on the side, and this is also your on-off button. So once you put this in, you press and hold it, all the lights light up, and then you hear the drone doo-doo-doo of the initialization. And at any point, you can check the status of your battery. So I have 2 bars on that one, 2 bars on that one, so they're kind of at a storage charge right now after some flying with both of them. Your controller, a very nice, comfortable controller. Now this actually has some heft to it as well. There's a decent sized battery in here, and it charges pretty quickly. I got the batteries charged up for the drone, and I forgot all about charging this up. And it was about 49%, 48, 49% charged. And I was like, I could probably go out with that, but, you know, let me stick it on a charger. Now, I was using a high output charger, and I got up to, I think, 85% in the matter of 15-20 minutes. So it charges very fast. Similar to some others, this one actually does have an LCD display. So you have information on the LCD. So you have, you know, speed, power, voltage for the how much battery is in the controller, how much battery is in the drone, and your GPS status. You have your distance away from you and distance in height above you. And I'm going to turn it off. But if you want to check your power, you just quick push it. And battery at 90%. So it's nice to, you know, see, do I need to charge up the battery in the controller before I go out? You have the removable gimbals. So the little control knobs come off and actually store into the bottom of the controller. I really like that because when you put it back in the case, these aren't sticking up, and if the case does get smushed in a little bit, it's not jamming your control down into the controller and damaging the actual controls. This has the nice pop-up phone capture. They actually have a groove in here on both sides where your control wire will come through and rest inside that groove. So basically you snap your phone in, and this plugs into the bottom of your phone. You have additional cables. So it has USB-C, I think it has Lightning, and another one in here. I've yet to need that because I just use USB-C, and that's what's in here by default. Cable stores nicely in here. There's the plug that's connected to the controller, and then on the other side there's a little dummy plug that it snaps into, and then you slide your cap back down, and your controller is very compact. You have auto takeoff, you have auto home, you have your speed rates. I actually didn't use that yet. The default speed rate was plenty fast for me, and it didn't have any problems fighting the wind and, you know, going wherever I wanted. So I actually didn't even use that yet. Power button, and then your GPS and calibration button. This does a few different things, and that's all covered in the manual. You have a slider here for your gimbal control to take it from level down to basically 90 degrees down. It's a really nice gimbal. And then you have your click button over here to take photos and stuff, which you can also do within the app. You just slide from photo to video, and then you can hit the button in that, and it's really easy to do. Again, you have your data cables in here, and this is a little tiny bag. You have extra gimbals in here, so if you do happen to lose one, you have spares, and you also have a full set of screws for your props, and I think a few extra other size screws in there as well. And then you also have a full bag of props, A and B, and a screwdriver to be able to take them all off. Other features of the drone, these little white landing gear stems are also indicators. They light up green, they flash green, they light up red, they flash red, to indicate the status of the drone. So when they're red, you know, you haven't gained GPS connection yet, so it's not going to take off unless you do manual override from the controller to say, you know, I'm flying indoors and, you know, I don't have GPS signal, so it turns it from GPS mode off so you can actually take off and fly. If they're flashing green, you have a weak GPS signal, but you do have enough to launch and fly. Now, and when it goes solid green, you have a good firm GPS connection and you're flying around. It also makes good indicators to your location. So these are always lit up with some color, so you're able to see. Plus, there are indicator lights up here, little bright white LEDs, so you can kind of tell which direction your drone is in, kind of no matter what. You can either see the rear lights or the front lights. Underneath, there's an optical flow sensor and another one. I'll have to put it down here. I don't remember what that is. But that aids with stability, especially in the non-GPS settings. Even when GPS mode is on, when you get down to the ground, it helps the hold. So when you're lowering this thing down from, whatever height you're flying, 50, 60, 100 feet, whatever, and it gets down to about, let's say 10, 12 feet off the ground, you'll see it kind of stop or slow down. It's automatically slows the descent. One, so you just don't go slamming it down in the ground. And two, it's kind of that optical hold area where it's, okay, we can see the ground now and I can hold position by that. And from there, you continue your descent. You get about 12 inches off the ground and then it really slows down. And that last 12 inches is a very slow descent until you make contact. And if you just hold down on the descent controls, it will disable the props. Now, to re-enable the props, you can either use the auto takeoff button or kind of a down and in, and it arms the props and they start spinning. Auto takeoff mode, it's fine. It basically just pops it up and hovers it about 6 or 8 feet in the air. I generally don't use it. I just go up with it and hover it 6 or 8 feet in the air, but it's there if you want it. There's also the auto land feature, which I have not used, but I'm very confident it works just fine. When this thing came, everything in here was packaged up super well. Drone's wrapped, battery, everything is compartmentalized, everything is wrapped, and even the drone itself had these little thin rubber sheets protecting the side of the drone. Protecting the side of the drone from where the arms fold up against it. So it was kind of keeping it from rubbing into the finish on itself during transit. You can put them back in when you're storing it. I probably won't. They don't really smash up tight. It's just when that thing's getting jostled around in transit, they don't want it to tear up the finish. So that was a nice little touch. I mean, if they're going to that much effort to make sure this thing arrives in perfect condition, you can feel pretty confident that everything is going to arrive in perfect condition. We'll get into some flying footage here in a minute, but I did have one issue with it, and it was kind of my own fault. So this takes a micro SD card for video capture and stuff like that. So the little micro SD card just slides right up in the side of it. It handles up to 128 gig card. I have one, but I have also used that in, I think, GoPros and multiple drones. So there's a lot of different file structures on there. For some reason, it was clashing with the software in here and was not recognizing the SD card. So I knew something was probably up with the SD card, not the drone. So I came back inside, I reformatted the card to wipe everything off of it. And when I put it in, it recognized the SD card. It goes through a quick little initialization to format it to put the file structure it needs onto that. And then everything was working fine. But before that when that wasn't working, I got no camera feed from the drone to my phone at all. So I knew it wasn't probably something with the drone. It was probably either something with the app on my phone or the SD card. And since the SD card I knew had been used in other things, I went ahead and wiped that, and that fixed the problem. So my suggestion, if you're going to pick one of these up, spend $15, get a 128 gig card, and try to get something fairly fast. This one's compatible with drones, action cams, all that stuff. So the write speed on this one is plenty fast for this and works fine. And for $15, a perfect pairing with this. You can put a ton of footage on one of these. It's not like you got to fly it and then go take the footage off of it so you have room on the camera. 128 gig. 128 gig card is going to last you multiple flights to record whatever you want. Now, as far as the drone, it has a ton of features. Unfortunately, I'm not able to use all of those right here. So one of them is, it says it has a 10,000 foot transmission rate. I did not test it. You'll see in the footage, all my surroundings is forest for the most part. So for me to fly out that far and, I'm still new to the drone, so I don't have 100% confidence in returning. So if something did happen and, you know, I'm 10,000 feet out and all of a sudden I lose signal, it hits a tree, something happens, you know, I am never going to find this drone, I don't think. But it does claim 10,000 foot digital transmission. Like I said, it is FAA remote ID compliant. It's 357 grams. I think mine weighed out 358, but you know, a gram or two. That could be my scales. Like I said, you get the 2 batteries, 70 minutes of flight time. It does have multiple auto return features, so you know you can have some confidence in it. Basically, it has you push the button on the remote, it brings it back home. Then it has a low battery auto return, so if the battery in the drone gets too low, it will automatically head back to where you're at. Now, there's also the one touch, the loss or a lost signal. So if this loses communication with this, this is going to return back to where home was, where you took off. So obviously I didn't test that, but I have no questions that it would work. I just am not going to push the limits of it. You know, maybe on an upcoming flight, we'll fly it around and, you know, get it to where the low battery is. I'll have it staged over an area where it can just land there. But if it does the auto return to home, it will come back to where it is. Now, on that auto return, you do need to go into the controller and set your preferred height. It's all covered in the manual. I think the default height is only 60 feet. So if you're in an area like me where there's trees between you and wherever the drone is, 60 feet may not be enough. I set mine to about 150 feet. That way I know I'm going to clear every tree around here and I don't have to worry about which direction it may come back to. If it does have to be an automated return to home, it's going to go up or down to that determined height and fly back in a straight line to home, and then it's going to descend down. It does have 3 kind of special modes. There's a circle flight mode, there's a follow me mode, and then there's a waypoint flight. I did use the waypoint flight. The circle flight, I didn't trust it because it basically has to be like 30 feet up. And I was reading the instructions and I'm not confident to use it here with all the trees around me. I need to get out into an open field where I can use the follow me mode. I can use the circle flight mode to where if it does go to a predetermined height and start flying around, it's not going to crash into a tree. Now, obviously, anytime it starts doing its thing, you can regain control. But I had very limited time to do these flights. The weather here is basically, we're kind of living in a cloud. It's been drizzly and rainy. So I had one day where I did have some decent weather, but didn't have very much time. And then the next day I was able to get it out, but it was kind of like lightly misting on and off all day. So I kind of had a window to get out there and do some flight and then come back in before it started raining again. So I will do those. But in the waypoint flight, I did set that up. So basically, when you have your phone up here, you go through the settings to get to your special special modes, and you do waypoint flight, and it brings up basically a outline area that you can set things. And then you can also go over and there's Google Maps aerial view of your area. So you can overlay the Google Maps area and say, okay, I want to go, my drone is right here in the middle. I want to go here, here, and here. And then you hit start, and then basically it's going to fly to the first point, and then it's going to fly to the second point, and then it's going to come back over here, and wherever your last point is, it's going to stop there and hang out, and then you can fly it back to wherever you want. So while I'm talking, all of that has been kind of happening in the air. And basically, I just picked 3 random points, and it started. It went to the first waypoint, it went to the second one, into the third, and then it just hung out at that third waypoint, and I just manually flew it back to where I was. So really neat feature. You know, if you're doing photography for a venue, or, you know, if you're in wine country and you want to fly over and catch the vineyards or whatever, you know, the sky is the limit with this to what you can do with it. I did plan on getting some video of me out on the track with this thing just hovering, and me running the car around the track. Like I said, unfortunately, the weather was not cooperating. It's rainy right now. So I will do a follow-up on this. So look, a couple weeks from now, hopefully things dried out and I can get this back out, get some cars out on the track and run around. But I know this is going to do super well. The stability of this thing, you can park this thing 15 feet in the air, walk away for 20 minutes and come back, and it's going to be in that exact same spot. Had some wind gusts and everything, and you can hear it fighting, and sometimes it's tipping and rocking. The video quality is rock solid. In part of the video upcoming, you'll see I start here and I fly directly at something and stop and then fly directly back. Now, when you're doing that, this thing is flying in kind of like this angle. And then when you stop, it rears back at this angle and then starts flying backwards. And in the video, you really can't tell that it's changing that much position. I know at one point I was sitting there filming in one spot and going hard right, hard left, hard right, hard left. Did it 5 or 6 times. I'm watching that back in the video, and you can barely tell that the camera angle tilts at all. It has really, really good horizon stability and, that start-stop stability. The gimbal on this thing works very, very well. I was very impressed with that. And like I said, other than the SD card issue, no issues at all with this thing. Everything was just kind of plug and play. Where I'm at, it does take a while for GPS to kind of get all linked up. So probably have a little bit longer GPS connection time than normal. 30 seconds is what it says on the box, and it was probably a little bit longer than that here. But, anytime you're waiting on something, 30 seconds seems like a really long time, but it's really not. So just, be patient with it, especially if you're in a very tree-laden area or overcast or whatever. And I'm kind of in both of that for this. So it did take a little bit longer, but, it eventually connects, no problem. Worst case scenario is I picked it up, held it over my head, and walked back and forth 2 or 3 times, and it started picking up satellites a whole lot quicker. But again, that's my area. We're just terrible for the satellite connection out here. So I hope you guys enjoyed kind of what is going on. I'm going to leave you guys off with more footage of flying around and, enjoy the view. I was hoping the trees were a little bit more colorful, but you can start seeing there's a lot of color popping out on different trees and stuff. I think the weather this year has just been a little weird, so things either started really early or they're starting a little bit later. I don't know. Kind of weird, but enjoy the footage. You'll see it go up maximum height and kind of do some rotation around. And then I had the camera kind of pointing down, flying over the trees so you can look down onto the trees and enjoy the view. Huge thanks for GleesFun for sending this out to me. It was a really, really nice drone. I will leave links in the description to where you guys can pick this up. I think they do have some coupon discount going on through Amazon at the moment. Makes it a lot more affordable. And like I said, this is a bigger drone than kind of all those 249 gram ones are. So you're going to get a little bit more flight time, a little bit more stability, and probably a lot more power if I change the speed rates. But for right now, out of the box, speed rate was perfect for me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shut up. Everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and enjoy the flight footage. See you guys.